Hi again everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Rob.
I'm Sil.
And we're a couple of alternate nutters living here in Alberta, Canada. Company comes.
Cheers.
Cup of tea. It's October. Looking out the window, it's not hard to see what's coming. So today we thought we'd spend a little time with you and just go through a few of the things that we do living off-grid here as we do. Basically, it's the stove in the kitchen and a few other emergency backup measures we take. So let's take a tour and see what there is to see. Now this particular stove is a Canadian-built Guelph stove from Guelph, Ontario. It's a Sultan. As near as we can tell, it's the early 1940s is when it was built. Now the reason we say that, and it is very difficult to date these stoves, but they did evolve over the years. But this one has a one-piece firebox door instead of the traditional two pieces which the earlier ones had. It has an enclosed bread warmer instead of the later models typically had just a shelf. The other thing is the amount of nickel on it. It's a poor grade chrome, it's just nickel plated. But as the war effort wore on and metals became more precious, so to speak, this type of decoration became less predominant and it went more towards painted or stove enameled finishes. So we're ballparking about 75 years old, this stove now. So it has certainly served quite a few families and housewives and raised quite a few children probably and cooked a lot of meals. So we use it for everything.
Oh.
From tea to turkey. Sylv has become the grand master of the stove over the years. We've had it about 17 years now. So it's been our primary heat source here in the cabin. We're heating about 400 square feet with it, and it's our main source of heat here in the cabin. And it's a very nice heat. It's a very comfortable, warm and inviting heat when you come in. And in the winter, when it's brutally cold outside, we have people come to visit and they'll pull their boots off at the door, pull a chair up and stick their feet in the oven to warm up. So, would you be without it?
No.
No.
I would not, no.
No. And over the years we've collected a couple more stoves. I think one's a little older, one's a little newer. But there are still plenty of them around. I think we paid $350 for this one thereabouts. And that was back in the days of the bargain finder, before Kijiji and Craigslist and anything else. And it was one of the first stoves we looked at. So, the fine art of running the stove. Well, as you can hear, Sylv's just moved this saucepan across, and it's now gently simmering. So there is no heat control that you turn to turn up the electricity or the gas. On the left side is your firebox. This is where it all happens. We run on wood and coal. Typically we keep a wood fire simmering in the front. If you want immediate heat, you throw a few bits of wood in there and boom, you've got immediate heat. In the back of the firebox, we keep a few lumps of coal, big lumps of coal, and that we have found is the best way to manage your heat. And as Sylv will show you, you have to control your heat by moving the saucepans.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay, now the oven.
Right, the oven. Okay, so I don't think you can see in here. It's not that big. It is
About 16 by 20 by 12.
Yes, so turkey will go in there, 15 pounds. If you go any bigger than that, then you'll have to cut his legs and his wings off.
Trim it down a bit.
Yeah, and you can't cook anything else in there. It takes up the whole oven, so you have to cook your turkey first, and then if you want Yorkshire puddings, roast potatoes, they have to go in afterwards. So yeah, and if I just want to shine up the top of the oven, I use a little bit of coconut oil.
Oh, the cooktop.
Yeah,
Yep.
Along here. Yeah, that seems to work best for me. I'm not sure what you're supposed to put on top, but
There is no operator's manual comes with these anymore.
yeah.
And
So
this time of age, it's kind of poignant to think that all the hands that built this stove are quite likely gone from this world now. But what they left behind is still working wonderfully,
yeah.
beautifully. And it's the heart of our home.
Oh yes, yeah.
So the only other thing is
the bread warmer.
the
So
bread warmer.
this is where the bread goes. Oh, and maybe dry socks too.
Clothes dryer.
So this is where the bread goes to rise. So it's really nice. When I'm drying clothes, I put a cool rack in here because here it gets really hot. So
And you'd leave the door open just to let the moisture.
oh yeah, I would leave the door open when I'm drying clothes. Yes. So that's good. And,
So what we find is that we use the stove about roughly 9 months of the year. Through the summer, if you did need to use it, you'd
then I would have to start it really early in the morning and get it going, and then get the bread going and the cookies. But with the cookies, I cheat a little bit. I actually make up the mixture, even a week before, put it in the tins, and then I freeze everything. And then when the oven is up to temperature, it's like, woohoo! I've got some dough I can just put in there and have fresh cookies. So that's really nice. I like that.
So for 9 months of the year, it's our primary heat source. On average, we have to clean it about once a month, and when I say clean, we clean it. It is amazing how quickly the efficiency of the stove drops. There is another video coming on this that we've already made of the cleaning session, and you will see in that it really is quite detailed. So make no mistake, a stove like this really is a labor of love. There is a tremendous trade-off for all you folks with electricity and gas. You pay, but you're paying for a tremendous amount of convenience. For us, this is a lot of work. And if you, as we have, run a full house, basement, main floor, and an upstairs with this stove, and 2 or 3 other stoves of various types, throughout the day, that is a huge amount of work. Bringing fuel in, wood and coal, and taking ash out. It is a huge amount of work. But we've done it for 6 years, way up north, up near the Northwest Territories. And this stove served us so well. The other thing about it is that it provides a lot of warmth for the little putty cats. And through the winter months, you can tell the temperature. You don't need to look at the thermometer on the door. It's where the cats are positioned. Colder days, they'll move from the chair down underneath and they'll sleep underneath the stove. As temperature comes up, they will slide back. And you'll have to step over cats to get around the kitchen. So we can tell what the temperature is from where the cats are. So,
yeah, there's the...
oh yes, the water reservoir.
Yes.
If you just lift that up, if you can.
Yes.
Okay, so there is your water reservoir on the far side, as far away from the fire heat source as they could get it. It's made of copper, and we do not use it. The main reason is that there is not a spigot on that reservoir. Some stoves did have them, and we probably would if there was one on it, but we are not going to install one. This is the way it came, and we will keep it that way. So if you wanted to get warm water out of there, you'd have to ladle it, and for us it's just too much of a nuisance, so we just keep a couple of saucepans simmering, which of course puts moisture into the air in the house to help keep your house humidified through the winter. And that's our hot water for washing dishes, whatever. That's just our hot water source, and it works well. Now it's important to remember that there is a fire burning inside your house here. It's right inside that stove, and you got to treat it with a healthy respect. So before you open the firebox, you have to open the dampers, and there are two. One here on the back of the firebox, and one round the back of the stove on the chimney. So once you've opened those, then you can open up the ring, and there's your fire.
And no smoke.
No smoke. And it's just burning ever so gently in there tonight. So then, down in front, down here you can see the top door is the front of the firebox, and down below is the ash pan. And when the stove is really working hard, that ash pan will probably have to be emptied twice a day, because you're really putting through the fuel. But my goodness, you're really getting the heat out of it too. So there we are. That's a brief overview of what it's like to live with a stove. Problems? Certain times of the year you got to be careful with your ashes. You're putting hot cinders out there, and things can get tinder dry. So you do have to have an ash disposal place where you can put your cinders and let them cool. Typically it will stay in from a full stoke up about 8 to 10 hours. The big question is, everyone asks, what does it cost to run the stove? Obviously we are burning waste wood, scrap wood, but it does take our time to cut it up and process it. We were lucky this year that we did get some lumber donated to us, some well-seasoned lumber, which we just had to buck up and split. As far as the coal is concerned, we are spending under $300 a year for coal. So that is a considerable saving, but it is a major time commitment. A major commitment. So we look at it that with what we're saving, one of us works full-time and the other is part-time because of the money you are saving, which means you have more time to spend together, which means you have more time for tea. Cheers. Thanks for visiting with us today. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.